Hello, beautiful people. How are y'all feeling today? I hope you guys are feeling spectacular. Today we're diving into the new moon solar eclipse reading. Buckle your seatbelts, kids. It's gonna be a wild ride. We have the new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius on December 14th. Now, along with the moon being in Sagittarius, we also have the sun in Sagittarius and Mercury in Sagittarius as well. With this energy, we will be diving into the unknown. This is an expansive, exploratory, voyaging kind of energy here, and it's quite cerebral as well, with Sagittarius representing the higher mind and exploring the concepts of expansion and discovering new things and what is not yet known to us. And as with any new moon, especially for this one being the last new moon of 2020, we are going to be focusing on planting seeds, right? We are planting seeds for what we are manifesting, not only for the end of this year, but into next year. So take some time right now to evaluate what goals, what intentions you want to set. Pause this video if you need to, write it down. That'll make it all the more powerful. Don't worry, I'll wait. Now, with eclipses, especially this solar eclipse, we are releasing the things that are no longer in alignment with us, the things that are holding us back on our journey. Spirit had something to say about that. We got Three of Cups. I love it. And in this releasing of the things that are no longer aligned with our higher purpose, we are opening space so that the new stuff, right? The new stuff can come in. It's kind of like having a closet full of old clothes, right? This stuff doesn't really reflect who you are anymore. So we need to clear out the clutter, and in this case, the energetic clutter, so that we can open the space for maybe new clothes that fit who we are now. And the same thing is happening energetically. We are closing out old cycles and letting go of the things that are no longer fulfilling us, the things that are no longer nourishing us, so that we can welcome the things that are more in alignment with who we are now. With Mercury being in Sagittarius, we're going to be focused on where we want to go next. Sagittarius is such an adventurous energy, and there's going to be a lot of talk, because when Mercury is involved, there is going to be communication, self-expression, all that wonderful stuff. Some of the things that we're looking at releasing are our current beliefs, any rigid rules and structures that we have set on ourselves and we've imposed on ourselves. Where are they no longer serving us? Do they still fit with who we are now and what we are creating? What limiting beliefs are we letting go of? What negative self-talk are we releasing? And how can we free ourselves from these self-imposed restrictions that are keeping us small? So the Sagittarian energy is really inviting us to find peace with what's passed so far this year. And with this being a bit of a cerebral energy, a very mind-oriented energy, we are being asked to take some time in the stillness, right? Take some time for yourself to really honor who you've been this year, who you no longer are, and how we want to move forward into the new year. Five of Wands. Now, these three aspects in Sagittarius are also trining Mars and Aries, so we better believe that there's going to be some action taken here, and maybe not necessarily right away, but we are reflecting on where we would like to take action and how this looks tangibly right now in our lives. This is a bit of a fiery one, guys, so get ready, have your fire extinguishers ready, be on the lookout for any hot-headedness, irritability, and rash decision-making / impulsivity. So with this trine of Mars and Aries, we are really being called to hone in on where we would like to focus our action. Oof. Okay, it's the Tower wanted to pop out and the Devil. I don't know about you guys, but I need a deep breath after that one. So let's all take a deep breath together and let it all go. All right, now that we're all centered and grounded, let us proceed. Where can we focus our energy on? Where is it that we want to express ourselves creatively in our lives? Fire energy is all about creative expression. It's about divine inspiration and taking action. Fire being a very quick moving energy. All right, and the last two cards we have for today are the Five of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands. All right, guys, let's dive right into this reading. Don't be frightened by the heavier energy here. This is all for our growth, right? Pronoia over paranoia, the concept that everything is happening for my highest growth rather than adopting that victim mentality that often comes with paranoia that everything is happening to me. So we're starting off this reading with the Three of Cups, such a beautiful energy of this card. We are being called to embrace where we feel held by our community, by our loved ones, right? What can we celebrate? How can we embrace that deep well of love within us? How can we share that joy and that peace with other people? As well as how can we collaborate with others? How can we share our creative endeavors with other people and invite other people into our energetic space? What are we celebrating? What are we proud of that's come so far this year? What growth, what accomplishments, what goals have you reached that we're celebrating now? This is a confirmation that you have done such amazing work so far this year. Take some time and give yourself a little pat on the back. This is incredible, guys. How can we carry this creative energy through with us, through this new moon, through this solar eclipse, and really hone in on where it is that we would like to direct our creative energy, what we actually want that to look like in the material world, and how we can actually make those things a reality. The next card we have is the Five of Wands. So moving right along with this fiery energy, we are experiencing some conflict, whether that's internal conflict, external conflict. A theme that has been popping up for so many of us lately is boundary setting. So maybe this conflict for you is in that similar realm of boundary setting, and I'm getting a message that some of us are experiencing resistance with other people respecting our boundaries, right? So when that happens, we need to go internally and kind of evaluate, all right, how do I proceed from here? Do I need to cut ties with this person? Do I need to reevaluate how I'm engaging with this person and what I allow into my life? And conflict often gets such a terrible reputation, right? We see conflict as this horrible thing that is to be avoided because it's not safe emotionally and we're gonna get hurt. Now, this doesn't have to be the case. Conflict is an invitation for deeper connection, deeper intimacy. Whether that's internal or external conflict, we are invited to do that both within ourselves and with others. However, if some of us are in situations that are not emotionally safe, we need to evaluate what is keeping us trapped. How are we holding ourselves prisoner in our current situation? And how can we free ourselves from these bonds, right? In order to do the thing that is for our highest growth, for our healing, and acting from a place of love. With the Tower popping out, I'm being called to bring up Jupiter and Saturn ending their transit in Capricorn and moving into Aquarius within the next couple days following this new moon. And what we see here is this crumbling, right? This crumbling of the old way of doing things. As we move into this Aquarian energy, all these rigid structures and oligarchies are really beginning to fall apart. And sometimes it is a slow descent. So we need to have patience throughout this process. And that's more of a reminder for myself than for anyone else. On the collective level, we are experiencing this major crumbling of the systems that are in place. From this kind of top-down authoritarian approach to community and entering into this more level playing field style of community and connection, right? Smaller, close-knit communities and really engaging from the heart space. Now, on an individual level, the Tower is inviting us to examine what restrictions, self-imposed or otherwise, we need to break free of. What old ways of doing things do we need to let go of and to cleanse and purify in order to become our next version? The next card we have is the Devil. So the Devil has been popping up a lot recently. He is inviting us to look at our own shadow. How are we the ones that are continuing to perpetuate these patterns and these cycles? What is it that we are doing to keep ourselves trapped? And how is the ego mind really keeping us prisoner from engaging from a heart space? What addictions are we choosing to perpetuate? What attachments, unhealthy attachments, are we choosing to cling on to? How are we allowing ourselves to give our power away? The Devil invites us to hold these shadow aspects of ourselves with loving kindness and compassion. So this isn't about judgment. This isn't about demonizing. It's more so bringing the shadow into the light so we can see that these were adaptations and coping mechanisms that we created early on in childhood in order to survive. Take a moment and thank your childhood self for getting you to where you are now and honor that. And from that space of love and acceptance, we can move forward and recognize what it is that we can change now that we are adults, we are autonomous sovereign beings, and we have the power to choose to show up differently now. We have the power to choose to learn new tools, to learn beneficial practices that are going to aid in our expansion, that are going to help us thrive instead of merely surviving. We are moving away from this Five of Pentacles lack mentality, right? This is all about lack in the material world and feeling like we don't have enough, right? Feeling like we need to survive. And that there's so much despair and darkness and scarcity in the world. However, when we recognize that this is a reality that we are choosing to perpetuate, where indeed there is abundance all around us, we can decide to break free from those old conditioned beliefs and really aid in the collapse of these dogmas within ourselves in order to embrace this new beginning, this new way of doing stuff, right? Like with the Three of Cups, right? Embracing that heart-centered connection, creativity, laughter, play, celebration, and joy. In this way, we can move away from this wounded warrior mindset that the Nine of Wands is illustrating for us here, right? We've been through battle, we've gotten some broken bones and things, right? But we are still here. We can choose how we want to move forward. If we keep replaying this narrative of trauma in our minds, are we truly healing? Yes, there is a space for healing the trauma, for feeling the pain, for feeling the grief, and really experiencing what our emotional state is trying to tell us. And from that space, we get to decide where we would like to go next. And I'm receiving a very strong download right now that some of us are keeping ourselves stuck because we have been so identified with our traumas for so long that we don't know what life looks like without that. We don't know who we are without the trauma. There is this attachment to all the things that have happened to us, right? And sometimes it can feel a little scary because we may be unsure of who we are without these things. Please be gentle with yourselves during this new moon solar eclipse. It is a lot of very powerful energy and it may feel a little shaky at times. And that's okay. It's all a part of the process. The intensity is for our benefit. It is for our highest learning. And some of the learning is not easy. I was talking to a client the other day about the divine feminine energy and how sometimes the learning comes through in very challenging ways, right? There is the space for both the nurturing learning and love and light and joy and peace and all those beautiful things. And sometimes the divine feminine expresses herself through the wolf mother, right? And she is harsh with her young and she likes to really teach us some things. So let's be open and receiving to all these important informations that are coming in, and also take time for ourselves to really ground, to really center, process your feelings. Whatever you are feeling during this time is totally valid, and some of us may be having a more challenging time than others, and some of us may be flowing through this just fine, depending on who we are and where we are at in our journey. Simply notice from a space of non-judgment. And I'm going to close out this reading with one final card from my Ancient Animal Wisdom Oracle deck. And the Oracle card Spirit has for us today is the Monkey. The monkey is such a beautiful, playful energy, and I love that we're ending this reading with this. He is inviting us to really go out into the unknown, right? So very much embracing that Sagittarian energy and allowing ourselves to venture into what we've not yet explored, kind of pushing our own edge and getting curious about where we want to go next. The monkey is bringing our attention to the fact that we need to get out of our comfort zones. The way that we have always done things is no longer working, right? I mean, I'm kind of just stating the obvious here when we look at what's going on with the collective social sphere right now. And on an individual scale, how are you keeping yourself safe because you feel comfortable? Where can you push yourself to venture out of the comfort zone? Where is it that you want to direct your energy? How is it that you want to expand and grow? Where do you want to play? Where do you want to get creative with life? And how can you approach things in a manner that maybe you have not tried yet? The monkey is inviting us to really explore what our heart's desires are. How can we begin to call this into reality? What steps can we take? What seeds can we plant? And intentions can we set? Take some time for yourselves, guys. Maybe do some journaling, some meditation, and really get clear with yourself on how you want to approach 2021, what new things you want to do, what new places you want to travel. How can we approach life in a way that feels good and nourishing for us? Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this reading served you well. If it did and you want to dive a little bit deeper, shoot me a message on Instagram at LotusCoaching13 to book your reading for some deeper insight. I am also offering Pay What You Can coaching through the end of 2020. So grab this while you can, and I would love to work with you. Have a beautiful rest of your day.